Good morning. It is May the 7th. It is the first Thursday of the month, and that month in our nation, the first Thursday of every May, is designated as the National Day of Prayer. So I hope that at noon today or whenever you take your lunch moment, that you will stop and pray for this country and pray for your leaders. And it doesn't matter whether you like their politics or not, but they need our prayers. Pray for direction of this country and pray for revival. I hope you'll take some time to do that at some point today. If you can't do it at lunch, then take some moments somewhere in your day to do that. We're going to talk about prayer today, and you can open your Bible to Luke chapter 18 if you'd like to, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. We want to remind you that Sunday morning is Mother's Day. We're going to salute our moms, and we just want to say thank you to all the moms out there, the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers, and even the great-great-grandmothers, if there's still some around, for the great job they do in raising children and showing the love of Christ and being a godly woman in their families. We appreciate that. So we will salute moms on Sunday. And also those of you who are in the disciple group, you should have gotten a text from me yesterday, and I'm still taking answers on whether you want to participate in a disciple group. I will probably start that this Sunday. If not, it'll be the next Sunday. And I will send you the information, but I need to know if you're interested so I can send you the information. I just don't want to send it to you haphazardly. So please respond to that. Text me back if you're interested in that. I've got a list going. We've got some already interested. So anyway, let's get to the subject at hand, prayer. Look in Luke chapter 18. There's a parable there that Jesus told about the persistent widow. And I think it has a lot to do with what we are facing today. Notice the words of Jesus. Verse 1 is going to tell you why he told them the parable, so listen close. And he told them a parable to the effect that they ought always to pray and not lose heart. Now just stop right there before you even go any further. That's the reason for this parable. You can't read between the lines and say there's another reason, because there's not. Jesus told you why this parable is being told and why it's important, so that you ought always to pray and not lose heart. So let's get into the story, verse 2. He said, in a certain city there was a judge who neither feared God nor respected man. Oh, we got some of those in our world today, don't we? And there was a widow in that city who kept coming to him and saying, give me justice against my adversary. For a while he refused, but afterward he said to himself, though I neither fear God nor respect man, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will give her justice so that she will not beat me down by her continual coming. Now let me just stop right there. There's a principle there about prayer. We don't have to beat God over the head with our prayers. We don't have to continually go to him and pray to him and expect him to answer the way we want him to answer just because we continually go to him. There's some false teachers out there that are telling you that if you don't have enough faith, if you don't pray enough, it's not going to happen. That's a bunch of junk. But you don't have to beat God over the head with your prayers. You pray as he leads you to pray. And if you tell him once or you tell him 10 times, whatever your request is, do it in the right fashion, in the right spirit, in the right frame of heart, because that's what he wants to hear from you. He don't want to be beat over the head with all of your requests. So, sorry for the mini sermon there, but let's get back to it. You see the reason why this judge decided to take this woman's case on. Verse 6, and the Lord said, hear what the unrighteous judge says. Notice he called him unrighteous. Verse 7, and will not God give justice to his elect, his followers, who cry to him day and night? Yes, he will. He's going to give us justice one day. He may not do it right now, but he will. Will he delay long over them? God's timing is perfect. Though it may take a while in our estimation, though we may not get it when we want it, God is always on time. He always answers at the right moment. Verse 8, I tell you, he will give justice to them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth? Prayer is a common theme in the Bible. You look in Genesis and you go all the way to Revelation and you will see prayer mentioned in every book of the Bible in some form or fashion. The purpose of this parable here again is to teach us that we ought to pray continually, or pray without ceasing, or pray always to God. And in light of what we are living in today, that is much more important than it's ever been. We do not need to forget to pray in a 24-hour period. Some days we need to pray more than once. Some days we need to pray only once. But my goal in my life is to spend quality time with God in prayer. Sometimes quality time is a long time. Sometimes quality time is a short time. Sometimes it's time in between. But what the purpose of this parable here is I think that to spend quality time because of what Jesus says, because of what he says at the end. When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? Will he find true faith? You remember when the flood happened, how many faithful people were found left on the earth? We don't know how many people were on the earth before the flood. But do you know the answer to that question? There was only 8 people left in the boat. One family. One. You would think there would be more righteous people on the earth at that time than just 8. But that's how bad the earth had gotten. That's how bad sin had taken over their society. We need true faith today, and that's rare. True faith is rare today because apostasy is just rampant right now. Got a lot of people giving lip service to the fact that they're Christians, but yet their fruit does not show they follow God. God told us through Jesus that we are to be fruit inspectors. We can see how people are because of their fruit. And it's good, I guess, to give lip service to God, but you got to be able to back up your talk as a follower of Christ. And if you never pray, and if you never read your Bible, if you only darken the door of the church once in a while or only on Christmas and Easter, that don't necessarily prove that you're saved or unsaved, but it does prove how close you follow God. Because I've always been taught that God's people will spend time with him and with his people. That's what the Bible teaches. And for me, if I'm going to be a follower of Christ, I'm going to do it with all I have. That's always been my characteristic of anything I've done in my life, whether it's been my education or it's been my short athletic career, or whether it's been ministry, or whether it's been as a father or as a husband. I'm going to do it with all that I have and all that I can do. I'm not going to quit, and I'm not going to give anything less than 100%. Now, that doesn't mean I'm perfect. Hear me. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. There are many days that I don't give 100% of whatever it might be. But you see at the end of the pericope here in verse 8, it says, nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on this earth? Is he going to find you faithful at the end? And the end is either going to be when you die or when he comes to rapture the church. When you die, you're going to meet him face to face, and you will know whether you were faithful or not. You won't be able to lie to him. You won't be able to tell him any untruths. You won't be able to compromise with him. He's going to say, go away, I never knew you, or welcome in, welcome home, one or the other. If he comes the second time, or if he comes to rapture the church, and you don't go, and you thought you would, you better get on your knees right then and pray, because that meant you weren't saved, according to the Bible. So, I would rather do right now what God asked of me right now. It's kind of like the old Fram air filter commercial. You can either pay me now or pay me later. I would rather pay now and not have to pay later. Let me live my life. Let me pray today. Let me serve him today. Let me follow him today. Let me be a disciple of his today. Let me be found faithful today, not at the last minute, but all the time. So today, pray. Pray. Why? So you won't lose heart, as it says in verse 1. And secondly, so you'll be found faithful. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.